Amidst the rising rate of inflation in Nigeria, stakeholders are tasking the federal government to devise novel ways to stem it. The Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, CPPE, says the federal government cannot curb inflation without taming insecurity and foreign exchange volatility. In a statement, the Chief Executive Officer of CPPE, Muda Yusuf, said the major drivers of inflation must be subdued first to see a continuous decline. Yusuf said to tackle inflation, the federal government needs urgent intervention to address the challenges inhibiting production, productivity and security in the economy. The CPPE CEO said the proposed Economic Stabilisation Bill currently before the National Assembly will substantially address the concerns from the fiscal side. BKO, you mentioned insecurity and Forex, but now the CPPE, Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise, they've made the call that inflation cannot reduce until these two giants are tamed.
Yes, and they talked about such things as depreciating exchange rates, surging fuel price, rising transportation costs, logistic and supply chain challenges, high energy costs, climate change, including the resultant incident of flooding, insecurity in farming communities, structural bottlenecks to production. So Dr. Muda Yusuf is saying that the government needs urgent intervention to address the challenges inhibiting productivity and security in the economy. You know, these are some of the issues that we've always talked about. How do we ensure that we deal with the problems arising from seasonality of agri-produce? For example, look at onions.
Okay.
Onions is seasonal. When onion is in season, a whole bag of onions you can buy for less than 100,000 naira.
A whole bag?
A whole bag, a big bag. Not 50 kg, much bigger than 50 kg. But today, three small bulbs, or what's it called, onions, they will tell you it is 200 naira. It's what I saw. Not that anybody told me a story. I went to Ogba markets. I said, okay, I even spoke Hausa so that I can
get favorable price.
Sweet talk him to be favorable to me. And he said, no, this is 200 naira. And they were tiny little bulbs. I said, what's going on? I said, how can you sell this? It's not in season. We have not found a way to also store onions so that all the year round it can be available to our people. We also need to do a lot of dry season farming so that some produce, you can have them all the year round. All of this will help us bring down these inflationary pressures. The big onion production belts of our country, we know where they are. We can focus on those communities along that corridor. Sokoto is the biggest producer of onions in Nigeria. We can focus on those onion production communities and create capacity for them in terms of storing. We should, I don't know why in some of our tertiary institutions they cannot do research about a creative way to store these things so it doesn't get dry because after some months.
I agree.
We've got to find a way. Ramp up production and then create an enabling environment for people to not just produce, but to be able to store what is produced, so that during the off season, we do not have to buy at a premium.
At a premium.
We must find a way to solve that problem. And I'm happy that Dr. Muda was also talking about that, the seasonality of a lot of our crops.
Okay.
So, apart from that, we also talked about some of what we talked about earlier, the Forex. You must fix the Forex situation. You must. I do not see how things won't get worse if we continue to struggle. If we continue to struggle, if our currency continues to struggle against the dollar, we must find a way to make that currency stronger. And some of what we were told, that, okay, when Dangote comes on stream, the currency will firm up, it will be stronger. I want to see what happens, in the coming days and months. Let's see whether indeed this will impact positively, or is it that some people are just there to sabotage the government, that once the government is making some moves that they believe will help strengthen the Naira,
and they
then come up with their own moves that will make sure that we do not see light at the end of the tunnel. So there is a need for the economic team to sit down and realize that Nigerians expect a lot more from them than they are getting. So that the pains that our people are going through, the disposable incomes of our people will be able to buy a lot more food, for example, than they're able to buy at this time.
Exactly. Now, CPPE talked about insecurity and Forex. Why is the CBN finding it so difficult to tame the Forex volatility? 1,700 is an embarrassment.
You see, when you talk about Forex volatility, it goes beyond desire. It goes beyond expectation.
Okay.
It's a product of action. Ask yourself, what is Nigeria expecting to get Forex? Because it is your productivity as a nation that determines the strength of your currency. True. If, as a nation, you are a monolithic economy, you cannot, you don't have much say when it comes to Forex. So I think the starting point, and that is why we talk about production and exports and all of that. What are we doing to increase our exports? We are here talking about crops. We are here talking about certain goods and all of that. What are we even doing to even package some of the things we produce here for exports? Are we saying that, if you look at things, I have a friend who is currently doing a PhD in the UK, and she's working on exports, Nigerian goods, and the rest. And she told me that what she discovered was that even the little gains we are making as a country on exports are from individual efforts. That we don't have a national policy as it were driving our exports in terms of agri-produce, crops, and the rest. We may have them on paper, but in practical terms, how far are we going in all of this? So when you talk about Forex, your currency has to be strong.
It has to be strong.
It has to be strong. There is no two way about it. If your currency is not strong, you will continue to experience a reduction in the value of your currency. So we need to work on that. And also I want to add that the surging fuel price also contributes hugely to the inflation that we are currently experiencing, because it impacts on transportation.
Exactly.
Mind you that whatever we're talking about, they have to be transported to the last place.
Exactly. To the final consumer.
To the final consumer. So, and with 1,200 per litre for fuel, It's going to impact. It will impact. So, and there is nothing you can do about that. It will be brought into the cost.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, consumers will have to pay for it.
Suffer for it.
Yeah.
But